Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3. We're still making our way through the House of Grief, where we've taken on the Mother Superior and killed her, and then rescued Shadowheart's family. But there's still a lot more to this place we have not explored, which we are going to do so now. Crimes of the Moon Maiden by the Anti-Lunar League. Woe unto any who throws their lot in with Selûne. 4 ways she has of pulling the wool over one's eyes. First, she can make you think your husband is a werewolf when he's only forgotten to shave. Wow, really? Second, she's always changing, making it difficult for slow painters to capture her likeness. Third, tides. Absolutely bugger the tides. And fourth, people keep associating the moon with femininity, and frankly, we're fed up with reading the same poetry over and over, and it's all that celestial bent Selûne's fault. Alright, the Anti-Lunar League is not the most persuasive. Lunar Dark Lies. This scroll is filled with soothing, persuasive arguments, encouraging the sick at heart to turn themselves from Sahani worship. The Moon Maiden, as the goddess is called, will whisper naught but lies. No problem solved, only a sense of fondness that is as cold as the lunar marina. Seas of empty pale dust, and even the gradually fading for the worshipper. As an alternative, the scroll speaks of Shar, who whispers only truth. Her fondness is warm, unexpectedly so for a goddess of darkness, grief, and nihilism. But why should that be unexpected? The sick at heart will find only succor and blessings in the embrace of she who understands them best. Consolation of the Dark. Introductory text explaining the allure and superiority of Shar above all other deities. All other so-called gods are liars and charlatans given to cheap tricks and easy answers. They seek to enthrall mortal hearts with promises that are beyond their ability to fulfill. Lady Shar does not do this. Her words are honest, and her gift is simple. Her embrace awaits eternal darkness, the purest of nothingness, the end of all pain. It will come to us all ultimately. Nothing else will matter, and it is the role of Lady Shar's children to hasten that understanding among the ignorant. When we carry out Lady Shar's holy work, we must inevitably cause pain and suffering, yet it is only to reveal the truth. What we do is a kindness. There is some truth in this statement that Lady Shar is honest in her gift simple. She is honest about wanting to bring everything to eternal darkness and nothingness, and that is what she grants to her followers. The spin of making that seem like a good, happy thing, I don't agree with, but they are correct that where a lot of the gods are not as honest about their intent, Shar is at least telling the truth. So, yeah, that's something. Baldur founds a city. This text roots its subjects on Baldur, a sailor of exquisite renown who founded the city of Baldur's Gate many years ago. The prose is colorful, but a little too self-satisfied around the edges, and the novel would be unremarkable but for one small entry about halfway through. Baldur claimed a guardian and friend, Ansur. Bright were Ansur's scales, and bright still his breath. Yet after a betrayal too piercing to recount here in worthy detail, Ansur fled beneath the stone, thereby changing the name of the region he now slumbers under to match his draconic lineage. We do need to go with Will at some point to wake up Ansur, because we haven't done that yet. Kind of forgot because it's not in the city itself. We'll take that. The Quarta Soon. An excerpt from the Quarta Soon, a guide to sexuality, eroticism, and emotional fulfillment. Detailed diagrams accompany every page. On your journey to sensual alignment, treat each passionate encounter as a dance. Your movements should flow from one to another, like a river through the mountains. For instance, it would likely be uncomfortable for you and your partner, or partners, to move immediately from the bugbear bend into the underdark choke. Instead, after strenuous positions, gentler ones, such as threading the weave and or transitive plane are encouraged. It is also important to treat your partner's care post-encounter as the final step to this dance. Recipes for scented oils for exhausted muscles, tea blends for sore throats, and massage tips can all be found in later chapters. Sure. Gondian Research Report. Here you pass your eyes over a Gondian report concerning the Shadow Curse. Landmarks are sketched quite expertly, with special attention paid to areas where the curse hangs thickest. Of interest, the report ends with a recommendation for someone called the High Artificer. That recommendation reads thusly: "It is a geography unsalvageable, High Artificer. The curse's ambiguity makes it inscrutable as well as deadly. It is the shared belief amongst our party that this area be designated as imperative to avoid on Gondian maps, and for all further expeditions to be summarily halted, discontinued, and not reconsidered thereafter." Corsairs of Luskan. This cultural analysis spends a good number of pages on Luskan, tucked like a gold filling, or some would say a pus-filled abscess, at the mouth of River Mirar. Luskan is the city of merchants, princesses, swarthy bandit princes, and the most diverse cutthroat and fractured cabal of pirates on Toril. Torn is into factions. These piratical groups are known as ships. Here the book details each faction with a frankly dizzying attention to detail. The one point of interest is that the Ship Kurth faction are in fact controlled by a secret mercenary company of Drow. Neat. History of the Flaming Fist. Founded by Eltan, who was at the time Grand Duke of the city of Baldur's Gate, the Flaming Fist are difficult to categorize. They are a standing army, a police force, a band of mercenaries, and a troop of explorers. They are scholars who have inculcated order and law, and they are soldiers who have slaughtered the guilty and the innocent alike under banners of orange and scarlet. Equally vexing for the historian are their sociological implications. The Fist have been sometimes corrupt and other times virtuous. In the way of making a friend of the Fist is buying a packaged loaf. Who knows if the dough is delicious or the crust is poisoned? Yeah, right now the Fist is clearly in a very corrupt state.
Keep your distance, darling.
That's probably because Gortash is the one making the calls.
All's well that ends. Not as bad as it could have.
Alright, some valuables and then interrogation in 3 levels. A manual of Sharan interrogators describing 3 levels of induced stress: emotional, physical, and lethal. It emphasizes eliciting information over punishment, and cautions the interrogator against becoming emotionally involved in the process, either sympathetically or sadistically.
Never wanted the easy path.
Alright, what do we have here? The armory. Anyone around? I'm assuming not. If there were people just in these side rooms when that giant battle was taking place, they probably would have come out to get involved.
Maybe
Or at least you would think so. We'll grab the various +1 items and leave everything else behind. Map of Faerun. We could pick it up. If we examine it, do we get any more? Nope, just a map of Faerun. Nothing to read. Don't really see the value in grabbing. Let's grab it. Might as well. You never know if story-wise it might have a purpose, since it is just lying here. Gonna ignore all the food.
There's a hole back there, behind the crates.
Yeah, I was noticing that that looked like something we could interact with. Artifact mission, agent roster.
Let's see what this does.
Give that a read. A roster of 5 infiltrators is written in an elegant hand. Above their names, it is noted that this group have proven themselves to be the most skilled and have the greatest chance of successfully obtaining the artifact, but they remain utterly expendable. Calden Darkwood, leader. Budug Vriss, close combat. Kurt Deepcroft, lockpicking. Drina Covley, languages. Shadowheart, healer. It's interesting that they have names like first and last names, and potentially those could also be code names that they were given. Because we read a note on one of the bodies that a person was given a new code name. Shadowheart's obviously the code name, but it's interesting that were they allowed to keep their names? I guess that's the question of maybe some people who willingly join Shar, maybe they're allowed to remain who they are. Though you would think Shar would take everything regardless, like all their memories, who they were, etc. And yeah, Shadowheart apparently was the healer, which isn't terribly surprising, I suppose.
Make me your enemy.
54 damage. Nice. And this is a ladder up to somewhere else.
A little hideaway. Why does this place seem so familiar?
Yeah. You had a history with night orchids. And we find a hideaway with a bunch of night orchids. I bet you've been here before. Stained book. They heap precious pelf upon the altar as if it was nothing. The door wants gold, trinkets, baubles of mammon. Okay, so that's probably how you're supposed to get in the door if you don't have Astarion to lockpick it. Because we couldn't tell what the diamond was doing when it was placed down or picked up. Probably if we'd added more valuables, eventually the door would have opened. Empty stack of books. Let's grab the night orchids. Hastily written note. She's going to make me look in the mirror again. She's going to take my memories. I do not want to forget who I am. I like flowers. I like animals. My name is... Writing breaks off with a jagged scrawl as if interrupted. I'm betting this is, in fact, Shadowheart's, you know, hideaway when she was here. When she was more lucid. Anything in the pouch? No. Wondering if that was something because it's kind of glowing, but no. This just seems to be a place of reprieve from the oppression of the rest of this area. I mean, certainly whoever walled this up had to have known about it. So why didn't they get rid of her notes and whatnot? Unless this was a movable wall that Shadowheart just put up in place every time she went in or out, I suppose. I don't know. But yeah, that's clearly Shadowheart's place of refuge in this horrible place. Where does this one take us? Dormitory. Oh, hello. There is a person here who didn't join the fighting. Nocturne. Only one person, it looks like.
Seems like a good moment to talk.
Shadowheart? I wasn't sure if I'd ever lay eyes on you again. It's me, Nocturne. Do you remember?
Remind me?
We trained together. We used to be close. I'm glad to see you're all right.
I don't remember you.
Oh. A pity. Perhaps we can talk some more later? That is, if you're not about to turn on me. It seems you no longer walk in the Dark Lady's shadow.
Yeah, so... There's always the assumption that Nocturne's lying. But at least as it sounds like, they were friends or closer. but if she is dedicated to Shar, then we're probably going to have problems here. But at least she didn't go immediately offensive trying to kill Shadowheart, even knowing that she's turned from Shar. So I don't think we need to immediately declare them as enemies. We'll say nothing. Shadowheart can take over.
Shar condemned me. By her decree, you and I are enemies.
Only if you wish us to be. You may not remember, but we shared a lot together once. Good times. Hard times. I will not turn on you, even if it angers Lady Shar.
That's good enough for me. I'm not sure what I expected coming back to this place. Certainly not a friend. There must be all sorts you can tell me. Things I can't even remember.
There are, but with the Mother Superior gone, I don't know if I can stay here to reminisce. Perhaps there's another enclave out there for me.
You don't need Shar.
You don't, perhaps. Not everyone is as brave. I'll leave come tomorrow. Come see me before then. I was working as quartermaster. I can sell you some things to aid you. And we can catch up.
Well, that's a more friendly outcome. And the fact is, if you're willing to ignore Shar's orders to protect Shadowheart, surely you'd be willing to just bail on Shar because you're already invoking her anger. I don't know. Nocturne's journal. You don't mind if I read your journal, do you? The earlier entries of this journal have been erased or heavily redacted before settling into a normal rhythm. I'm Nocturne. I think as her. I see her when I look in the mirror. I can't remember the last time someone called me by the wrong name. Shadowheart has been swift to gently correct slips of the tongue, and even swifter if challenging those who used my forsworn name in malice. I'm lucky to have her as a friend. They took Shadowheart's memories again, more than they took before, but I know what to do now. I know she'll be frightened, and that she won't remember much, not even me. I can take her to our hideaway, and remind her of herself. I'm getting better at it each time. I love seeing that look in her eyes when she finally remembers me. Why must the Mother Superior do this to her? Why must she grind her under heel like she does to no other? They are grooming her for our mission, and will soon take away her memories again. I need to see her again while she still remembers me. I need to tell her to stay safe, and that I'll see her again. It's been days, no word. Shadowheart and the others could be alive or dead. Even the Mother Superior does not seem to know. I'm sick with worry. I can't even bear to write anymore. Yeah, if you were close enough that her entire journal seems to be written around you, you guys were close. Feel kind of bad for Nocturne having to watch as her friend went through that. Like, I feel bad for what Shadowheart had to go through as well. But being someone on the outside and just watching it and being unable to stop it, it's gotta be rough. You've got friends in the guild and the blood war. Introduction to this blood-spattered piece of propaganda. Unkind people say to me, but how come the guild carved up the lower city like so much pumpkin, slicing it into segments for kingpins to rule from the shadows? To which I can only shrug and reply, delegation, mate. How else are they supposed to get anything done? To carry the analogy a bit, the pumpkin was ripe, and if it weren't cut by the guild, somebody else would have. Me, I'm grateful it was Nine Fingers and her organization what got the carving knife out. Unlike a lot of vested interest in this city, the guild actually want what's best for the city. Their view is this: if you got to have crime, better be organized crime. Sure. Might be better just to not have crime, but since the Flaming Fist isn't actually trying to stop the problems in the lower city, I guess what happens. If ever there was a conflict in the planes of existence, a conflict that swelled up, we've read this one about the Blood War. Okay. Usually it doesn't take me too long reading before I realize I've already read a book. Let's see. Interrogation log. This is a Githyanki slate. A log of interrogation notes detailing a Githyanki captive's torture over a number of days. The captive remains strong at first, but very gradually starts to slip and offer up information about the whereabouts of a mysterious artifact hidden away by Queen Blacketh. Yeah, we've read that before, but it was written on, you know, a normal book or note or something, as you would expect.
Githyanki. Part of the Sharan's preparations to seize the astral prism, no doubt.
The fact it's on an interrogation, or on a Githyanki stone disc, does that mean while being interrogated he wrote of his interrogation? And then they brought that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, I get that they're wanting to have duplicates here to just make sure we understand how the Sharans learned about the artifact, so it's in multiple places. That's standard game design. But the fact that they have it as a Githyanki item is weird. Surface of the night. It has been years since Waterdeep, since Suldanessalar. At last, the trail has gone cold enough so I may recommence Lady Shar's holy work. It is true that secrecy is the greatest shield of all, yet the sacrifices needed for this new beginning have been steep. It better prove to be worth it. Baldur's Gate. It feels strange to be back in this place. So familiar, yet I cannot engage with it. I am like a living ghost, hidden and watching. Time has rushed past like an autumn storm. Lady Shar's church in Baldur's Gate grows steadily and in secret under my command. I've named it the Cloister of Somber Embrace, for the Night Singer's embrace is the final goal that we all crave. One day, this place could even surpass what I created in Waterdeep. Yet by then, it may not be mine to command. Lady Shar tells me that there is another, one I must pry from the foul Selûnite heritage and reshape to become darkness's champion. An audacious plan, but one that could cost me everything. I must stay resolute. I must find this child for Lady Shar. My spies reported to me the child has been found, a girl with hair of sheerest black. She will soon come of age and be lost to the moon bitch forever, but our plans is in motion. Under a cloak of darkness, the girl shall soon be ours. It would be nice to get a bit more information about that memory we had with Shadowheart very early on, when she was presumably on her pilgrimage, whatever they called it. Selûnites go into the forest and then make their way back to the city, where, at least from Shadowheart's perspective of her missing memories, it looked like she was about to be attacked by a wolf and was saved by Dark Justiciars. My assumption is the wolf was actually a friend and going to attack the Dark Justiciars that it recognized behind her. But we don't know. But yeah, I would like to see some information about that event to get more story on it, of exactly what took place.
These are all about me. 40 years of my life, documented like I was some sort of specimen.
Yeah. No price too high, and a sprinter's guide to goblins. Years have passed, and still she refuses to be easily molded into what Lady Shar wishes her to be. She questions my teachings, hesitates when she should be pitiless, and longs to venture the world like some guileless animal. So often her behavior makes a mockery of the name she has adopted, Shadowheart. That Lady Shar believes that she shall one day become the perfect embodiment of her will makes my gorge rise. Have I not proven myself worthy? Did I not sacrifice everything in order to please the Night Singer? I had built something great in her honor in Waterdeep, all gone now. Those who followed me have been embraced, and I'm left with honing a child of the Moon Bitch's followers in Lady Shar's right hand. I will not give up. I will remake her, or I will break her. The Night Singer shall know who is her most loyal servant, one way or another. It is odd that Shar was so sure about Shadowheart, put so much into specifically her. Like, what made her special when she was originally just a child, a Selûnite child? Why her out of everyone else? Were they willing to sacrifice whole cloisters? I hope we get that answer. Sprinter's Guide to the Goblins by Cullen Meringue. Let's talk goblinoids. Your standard goblins are well armored and conniving, and while not the best strategist, they are deadly in bigger groups. Hobgoblins are where the species get disciplined. Smarter, stronger, and as mean as a bag of hedgehogs, hobgoblins are natural leaders for their kin. Bugbears are as tough as ogres, only shrewder, and they can be unnervingly quiet when they want to. Avoid these sleuthy bruisers. Me? Ha! I avoid them all, chum. Odd. Shar headwear. It's valuable. Might as well grab it.
Dark Justicia helm. I wanted one of my own so badly. Hard to imagine now. These jewels. Why do I remember these, of all things? A gift from Solda Nessela, Mother Superior said. Curious. I could never quite tell if she was proud of them or not.
You remember these jewels above all things. We can assume that whatever Mother Superior said is possibly a lie, or there's a reasonable chance it's a lie. Silver necklace, obsidian ring, onyx. High security vault number 8, which, whatever that one was, we've already stolen it. Because we stole all the vaults. And I don't specifically remember what that was. Which is a shame now, because it'd be nice to see how that connected to here. Yeah, nothing else, no further information. We will go back and talk to her before we fully leave this place. Because there were other doors, I thought. Here. Yeah. Just gotta go back really far. Right, where they were teaching interrogation and infiltration or whatever it was. Interrogation training and infiltration training. Hey, my memory's not bad. And then there were also these walls that we could break into, but I'm assuming these doors will connect. Are we going to run into other people? Or was everyone down there? Wow, this is a grim room. Interrogation in 3 levels. We already read that. Yeah. Same book.
I might have hurt people here. Learned how to break their bodies. Their spirits.
Yeah.
Quiet in here now. But it wasn't always so. Screams rang off these walls. I swear I can almost hear them.
Nothing of interest. Syringe, a bunch of body parts. Lovely. And that's the wall that we could have broken in through. Okay. So it was just, as expected, another entry into this room. And nothing really to see.
A cunning disguise can serve a warrior of the Dark Lady better than any armor. That's what they always told us. I think this was my favorite part. Putting these on. Pretending to be someone else. I suppose that's been my whole life.
Yeah. Clearly being unhappy with who you are, and so spending your whole life. Your favorite part was getting to pretend that you were someone else because you weren't happy with who you were. It's kind of a rough life. Grab the lockpicks because we're starting to run a little bit low on those. Yeah, a bunch of various just outfits. Can we open either of these? Nope. Alright, Starion, get to work.
With pleasure.
Don't think we need the guidance. But might as well have it anyway. Yeah, DC 20s, I think he auto-succeeds on those. Haven't actually been looking at the numbers.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
Potion Supreme Healing, nice. 10d4 plus 20. Is that another level higher than what we had before? So we've got greater healing. Then... let's see. Weak, greater, superior. And yeah, supreme. I guess we've already had 7 of them. Didn't realize we had a tier higher. I thought the superior were our best. Alright, well, cool. Report of activities of Enver Gortash. A detailed report from a Sharan agent, Dark Adept Blivoy Reed, about the activities of Enver Gortash, an armed smuggler the Sharans had designated a person of interest. The report concludes with the lines below. Gortash, whom we believe to be a follower of the tyranny godling Bane, has recently been consorting with a leading adherent of the murderer godling Baal. The pair were observed entering the Devil's Fee, where they conferred for over an hour with the establishment's proprietor, the known diabolist Helsik. This must be considered significant, as Helsik is reputed to be able to open gate portals to the Hells if her extravagant fees are met. Alright, this must be where when they went to the Hells to get the crown. Artifact mission challenges. Pages of our handwritten notebook have been torn out, except for the final page, which was only partially removed. The remaining text reads as follows. Sharan agents, in summary, must be trained to deal with conventional, illithid, and Githyanki traps, locks, levers, and controls, but most importantly, they must be mentally prepared to face extreme situations under alien conditions. Casualties are expected, but that circumstance must not halt the mission. Agents are to be deep imbued to regard mission success as critical, even beyond survival. Book. I guess we will read book. A roster of 5 infiltrators is written in an elegant hand. Above their names is noted blah blah blah, yeah. I don't think the last time we read that list it was a book called Book. Lower City and Upper City. Yeah, we've read that one before. Anything else of interest while we're in here? That seems to be a no. Okay, then before we head out, let's talk to Nocturne. And I think since we're reaching the end of the episode, probably between episodes, I'm going to sell a bunch to Nocturne because she says she's a shopkeeper. And I always forget to stop by shopkeepers to sell the infinite amount of stuff I'm carrying. But let's see if she has anything further to say. She did ask us to talk to her before we leave, at least. No, don't close the door, please. Sometimes when you're, like, pointing through a door, it's like I'm wanting to click there, but it's highlighting the whole door as if I'm trying to click on it. It's like, I'm not clicking on the door. Hello, Nocturne.
Greetings. Do you seek to trade? As Shadowheart's friend, I'll extend the privilege to you as well.
Okay, so no, there's nothing further to say, it's just trade. Alright, then I'm going to end the episode here. And next time we will head out, I suppose. Maybe we should swing by our camp as well once we leave the House of Grief, just to make sure that her parents made it there and talk to everyone. Yeah. Anyway, that's where we're ending this episode. See y'all then. Bye.